All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We will call this meeting to order. Can I get a motion, please, that the agenda for the March 21st, 2023 regular meeting of council be adopted with the addition of closed session item M1, staff initiatives under FOIP section 24, advice from officials. Go ahead, Councillor Chenard.
Agenda as presented with the addition. I'm on or off for speaker.
You turned your mic off.
Okay, I'm on. So I will move the adoption of the agenda with additions.
Thank you, Councillor Chenard. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion that the minutes of the March 7th, 2023 regular meeting of council be adopted as presented? Go ahead, Councillor Pisichny.
I move the minutes as presented.
Thank you, Councillor Pisichny. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. So we do have some public hearings tonight. Our first is bylaw number 2287, amendment to land use bylaw number 2070, redistricting lot 3 block 8 plan 0125979 from Glenwood Service Industrial to Highway Commercial, and it will be presented by Shaival Gajar, our town planner. But before we begin, I'm just going to go through some housekeeping items here this evening. I know we have a number of people in the gallery and online that are interested in presenting during this public hearing. So I'm just going to go through the procedures once for both public hearings. First of all, we will have a staff presentation, and then if applicable, the applicant will be given an opportunity to speak. They will have a 15-minute time limit. Council may ask clarifying questions. Other registered speakers will have a 5-minute time limit to speak unless I extend the time. And please ensure that you direct all comments through the chair. I do want to remind everyone that this is a public hearing for council to gain feedback from the public and not an opportunity to engage in debate. Everyone will be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard. So I'm going to just go through some introductions. When I call your name, if you can just raise your hand so everybody is aware who you are. So myself, Mayor Kevin Zahara, Councillor Crystal Beyer, Councillor Trevor Bevan, Councillor Jean Chouinard, Councillor Ed Moore, Councillor Greg Pisichny, and Councillor Peter Taylor. And representing staff tonight, we have Christine Beveridge, our Chief Administrative Officer, Clayton Kitlitz, our General Manager of Infrastructure and Planning, Paul Hanlon, Interim Planning Manager. Not sure if Paul is here. Okay. And Shaival Gajar, our Town Planner. So with that, I will welcome administration to step forward and present on bylaw number 2287. Coming up, Mr. Gajar.
Okay. I'm going to present today about the redistricting application for Plan 0125979, Block 8, Lot 3. The town received an application to redistrict the following parcels from Glenwood Service Industrial Commercial District to Highway Commercial District. To provide the context, the subject site is located west of the town, and it is accessed by 75th Street, and it is also close to Highway 16, west and east both. As mentioned earlier, the subject parcel is currently zoned as Glenwood Service Industrial Commercial District. The anticipated end use is a permitted use in Highway Commercial District. If this proposed redistricting is approved, the applicant intends to apply for a separate development permit to develop a cardlock fuel facility. The proposed redistricting is the highway commercial, and the general purpose of it is to provide for a range of commercial uses to serve the traveling and local public using Highway 16. The general purpose of the proposed district aligns with the anticipated end use, which means the requirements of the land use bylaw number 2070 as well. Specific regards to any development concerns will be given at to the anticipated end use at the development permit stage. To list a few, the applicant will have to reach out to Alberta Transportation to get the roadside development permit. And at that stage, Alberta Transportation usually deals with the access and vehicle management. Alberta Safety Codes looks after the fuel holding tanks, and stormwater management is something that the Infrastructure and Planning Department will look after. In accordance with the Town of Edson's advertising bylaw number 2233, the administration sent out letters to 5 adjacent landowners, advertised in the newspaper for 4 consecutive weeks, and also advertised on town's website and social media. This is a map showing lands that were included in the notifying through the letters. The town received 2 phone calls, and so one call was regarding the number of gas stations in town, and the other call was regarding the traffic that the end use would generate at the intersection. And both the calls were answered, and the calls that we received were satisfied with the answer that we gave them. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gajar, for your presentation. Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Gajar? Seeing none, I don't know if we have anybody, the applicant, wishing to speak or not. I don't believe so. So is there anybody here that would like to speak for or against bylaw number 2287? Is there anybody online that would like to speak, Steve? No? Okay. I'll just give it a few more moments. Once again, if you'd like to speak regarding bylaw number 2287, now is your opportunity. You can just stand up and step forward if you'd like. With that, we will close the public hearing to bylaw number 2287. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to bylaw number 2286, amendment to land use bylaw number 2070, redistricting Southwest 155317 W5 from urban reserve to M2 heavy industrial. And once again, we will welcome Mr. Shaival Gajar, our town planner, to present on this.
Good evening again. My next presentation is about the redistricting application for Southwest 155317 west of the 5th. The town received an application to redistrict the following parcel from urban reserve to heavy industrial district. To provide the context, the subject parcel is located south side of the town and accessed from 54th Street south. It borders Yellowhead County on the east and south side of the parcel. The subject parcel is currently zoned as urban reserve, and the general purpose of urban reserve is to reserve those areas within the town that are rural in character or land use development that is urban in character. It also states that when development on lands within this land use district is proposed, other than for the uses and development prescribed in this district, such development will require redistricting of the subject parcel to the appropriate land use district. As mentioned earlier, the subject parcel is currently zoned as urban reserve district. The anticipated end use is a permitted use in heavy industrial district. If this proposed redistricting is approved, the applicant intends to apply for a separate development permit to develop a natural gas liquids processing facility. The proposed redistricting is heavy industrial, and the general purpose of heavy industrial is to establish an area for industrial uses which do not cause objectionable or dangerous conditions beyond the boundary of the district wherein the parcel is located. The proposed amendment aligns with the municipal development plan. The subject parcel falls within the boundary of future South Industrial Area Structure Plan. Point C of section 4.5.2 of the MDP states that development applications may continue to be processed by the town in advance of the South Industrial Area Structure Plan. Point B of section 4.5.2 of the MDP also states that a comprehensive geotechnical review shall be undertaken to better assess soil conditions. The proposed amendment also aligns with the intermunicipal development plan. Map 8, land use concept map of the IDP, identifies the subject parcel as industrial land as shown on the map. The proposed amendment also aligns with the surrounding land uses in the area, as shown on the map. In accordance with the Town of Edson's advertising bylaw number 2233, the administration sent out letters to 54 adjacent landowners, advertised in the newspaper for 4 consecutive weeks, and also advertised on town's website and social media. This is a map showing lands that were included in the notification through the letters. The parcel with green boundary is the subject parcel. The red boundary is the 500-meter buffer boundary, and the orange boundary is the highlighted parcels for the notifications. In response to the referral and notification, the town received some comments and concerns from the following. Yellowhead County provided their comments and concerns regarding the anticipated end use with respect to the residents in their jurisdiction. CN Rail provided their comments with respect to the development along the railway lines. AEP, Alberta Environment and Parks, provided their comments regarding the anticipated end use and contamination of the creek that passes by in the south portion of the subject parcel. And we received letters from the adjacent landowners. In total, we received 3 letters. One letter with 9 signatures raising concerns regarding the infrastructure and emergency response in the area. The second letter with 2 signatures mentioning that they are against the end use of the redistricting, and the third letter was in support of the redistricting and the end use. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Gajar. Council, do you have any questions for administration before we move on to the applicant? All right, not seeing any. Thank you very much for your presentation this evening, and we will move on for the next presentation, and that's our applicants. If you want to step forward and introduce yourselves, you will have 15 minutes to present. If you require additional time, you can request so at the end. As we are waiting for them to load their presentation, just want to make sure everybody is aware that we are not going to make any decisions on this tonight. That will be coming at a future council meeting, and that at the close of the public hearing, you're free to stay for the rest of the meeting, or you can certainly go and enjoy the rest of your evening as well. Thank you. And we have our applicants that are ready. Thank you.
There we go. All right, I'll start again. Mr. Mayor, Council, thanks for having us back. My name is John Schwartz, Vice President at Pivotal Energy Partners, the applicant in this case. Here today just to provide you guys with some updates on our project and updates on the steps we've taken since the last time we were with you guys on February 7th to give you kind of a project description. So since we met on February 7th, we've engaged landowners and stakeholders and residents within the area as part of our Alberta Energy Regulator notification and consultation. We had a radius of 1,500 meters for notification, and then a more descriptive radius of 500 meters for direct consultation. So as part of that, we mailed out over 1,300 project description letters and then hand delivered 10 notifications to people within that radius of 500 meters. When we met with the people within the 500 meters, sat down with them face to face when we delivered the notifications, and then took the opportunity that was afforded to us to sit down with those that had concerns and those that were for the project and those that wanted to learn more about the project over the last month and a bit. Like I said, as part of our AER application to complete that, in addition to what the town provided as project updates. The main stories that we're hearing from landowners were safety measures of the facility, and then the most prevalent one that was coming up most often, sorry, not the most prevalent, the one that came up the most often was the traffic impact and the access to the site. So spoke with a number of landowners and committed to work with them, work with the town on mitigation measures to handle that as we move forward with the development permit. We also heard a lot of good news. So we established a email address as well as a call-in line. The majority of the feedback that we heard back from people was inquiries about employment, inquiries about using their services, questions about how many people it was going to employ, positive feedback around tax impact to the town in a positive way, increased economic activity during construction and then through operations, and then community engagement that Pivotal's committed to do should this project go forward. Based on this feedback, we recognize that our job's not even close to being done. We've got a lot of wood to chop with local residents and landowners on providing knowledge, educating as we go. Some of the feedback we heard was I think it was Christine actually that mentioned it to me, is it's most important to explain to people what it's not as what it is. So we're committed to and continue to want to do that as we move forward. And as part of that, we wanted to host the public hearing tonight, spend the time with the residents, spend the time with the landowners, listen to concerns, listen to the positive side of things, and then host an open house, at which time further information will be available for the facility. We've got our team at Thermal Design Engineering working on a rendering of the facility so that you'll be able to have like a street view rendering of the facility so that people can see what it will look like once it's constructed. And then just a general overall update. I mean, we remain very committed to this project as we're going through the regulatory process and the rezoning process and the development permit process. Spend a number of man hours and significant capital to get the project to the point where it is right now. So we've completed our phase 1 environmental, our historical resource application, which we got approval on March 14th, approval from NAVCAN on height restrictions based on the adjacent airport. Our geotechnical study has been completed, drilled multiple holes into the soil to understand the formation so that Rick and his team at Thermal Design can help develop the civil plan. And then the traffic impact assessment has been completed. We're awaiting the feedback from Alberta Transportation on that. We haven't received that yet. And then in terms of construction and engineering, obviously nothing's happening on site to date, but the majority of the work is being completed in a fabrication shop in Edmonton. Anything that we can do to keep the project schedule as we go through the process of regulatory and permitting. The engineering drawings are almost 40% completed, and then our construction schedule we're still in line with everything that we have aligned to date to start June 1st with some civil works out there. So That remains our goal. Everybody within the town's been great. We're trying to respect the process as much as possible, and we'll continue to do so as this moves along. And then not only town council, but respect of the residents and respect of the landowners within the town. So we're continuing to monitor our schedule. A couple things that are out of our control with the requirement of our facility being serviced by April 1st, 2024. But right now, as we sit today, we're in good shape and things are ticking along. And then I think we obviously provided mail out notifications that have contact information. But again, we're an open book. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Oliver. I believe the presentation was posted on the town website. So if anybody would like to reach out to myself directly, please feel free. Thank you. Do you want to do questions on this first and then go to Jill, or do you? Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Jill, if you have something that you'd like to add.
All right.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council, administration, and community members. My name is Jill Hofer, and I'm a principal planner with McElhaney, speaking on behalf of this application. As previously noted by administration, the subject site is 46 hectares in area located east of 54th Street and is currently zoned urban reserve. This application is intended to facilitate a natural gas liquids processing facility. The site in its context has the CN rail line located to the north. It borders Yellowhead County to its east and south, and there is existing industrial to the west. The rationale behind the rezoning application today is due to the current land use assigned to the site. The site under its current land use under its current zoning is urban reserve and only allows for a small range of uses intended to reserve the land for future urban development. The proposed zoning of heavy industrial aligns with the adjacent land uses to the west within town boundaries and lists the required use needed to accommodate the development as permitted use. The proposed rezoning is in alignment with the council adopted municipal development plan, which shows the land as primarily serviced industrial. The MDP states that this land is intended to fall under the South Industrial ASP and supports development in advance of an area structure plan. Further, the application aligns with the intermunicipal development plan, which is the plan for the lands shared along the boundary of the town of Edson and Yellowhead County. This plan also identifies the site as industrial. Thank you for considering the application before you, and we are here to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you very much for your presentation. So we will open the floor to questions for the applicants. Council, do you have any questions? Please queue up if you do have a question, and we will go to Councillor Moore. Go ahead, Councillor Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, John and Jill. You have other facilities throughout the province, I understand?
Yes, sir.
And to this date, has there been any problems with those facilities or any emergency situations that you can pass on?
Through the chair, Councillor Moore, thanks for the question. Yes, currently we have 5 facilities operating in the province of Alberta. They are all partnerships, and we have had 0 incidents to date on any of those facilities.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Chenard.
They're going to turn it on, or am I? I'm live. Through the chair, just a clarification, John. You said you had a chance to talk to all the residents for or against in the radius. Is that correct? Did I hear that right?
Through the chair, Councillor Chenard, yes, that's correct. I mean, anything that we heard back, we made an attempt to meet with those people. To my knowledge, anybody that contacted us We have consultation notes on everything, but to my knowledge, anybody that was either for or against, we met with in person, yes.
All right, thank you, Council. Do you have any other further questions? Go ahead, Councillor Bevan.
Through the chair, I brought up last time about the congestion like you did on the highway, and I asked also if there was a chance of being able to put a pipeline into your facilities, and I believe you said that possibly in the future there would be able to put a pipeline. Is that still something you will be pursuing?
Through the chair, Councillor Bevan, absolutely. It's a fluid situation, bound by a little bit of commercial confidentiality through that. But we had 2 very successful meetings today with regards to that that would significantly reduce the truck traffic into the facility.
All right, thank you for that, Council. Any other further questions or comments for applicants? Seeing none, I will thank you very much for your presentation, and we'll give you a chance at the end to provide any closing comments. Thank you. All right, so we do have some registered speakers here this evening speaking regarding this. So first, I would like to call Randall McGuire, who will have 5 minutes to speak, an adjacent landowner. Randy, as you come up here, if you can just indicate if you're for or against, and whether or not you're a town or a county resident. And I think Mr. Bethgy will, oh, you got, perfect. There we go.
There we go. So, hello, I'm Randy McGuire. So, first of all, I'd like to thank the mayor, the town council, plus everyone in attendance for giving me this opportunity to speak at this hearing tonight. On behalf of my wife, Kathy, and plus our present and returning clients of Moose Meadows RV Park, and our many long-term and returning seasonal and future clients, plus their many family members whom I am speaking today on their behalf. So first of all, I'd like to read a letter that I submitted. And I'll just start. This was for the town planner. And it's from Catherine and Randall McGuire. So, and we are just in the county. We're from the county. Southeast 155317, west of the 5th, Lot 3, Block 1, Plan 0122782. That's our location. So, dear sir, in regards to your letter of February 22nd, 2023, regarding the redistricting for Southwest 155317 west of the 5th, 603 54th Street in Edson, Alberta, application number 2022-LUBA-001. So for the purpose of redistricting the subject site from urban reserve, UR, to heavy industrial, M2, for the purpose to develop a natural gas liquids, NGL, processing facility on it, then both Catherine McGuire and myself, Randall McGuire, stand totally against this operation. Our reasons and concerns are as follows. We are concerned for the future safety concerns and future financial property losses, not just for us, but the future of our grandchildren and their future children, plus currently for the safety of our RV park clients who live here sometimes for months at a time, who have families living and visiting them. We currently have 28 RV sites and are open year-round. We have been operating over 19 years in this location. We have built this home and RV park over a period of 20 years, since January 2003. We know there is no shortage of real estate in the Edson area, and we believe there is other options for Pivotal Energy Partners, Inc. to construct on a different site, probably west of Edson. One just being down the Wilmore Park Road, just south of the Sion crossing, and then immediate right, turning west, which is approximately 3 kilometers from the main Edson traffic lights, and has an existing provision for a spur line in place. Another better location, maybe, is around 10 kilometers from the traffic lights in Edson to the Repsol plant road, and then down to an existing spur line south of the Repsol plant. Any other locations will still offer the same employment opportunities for construction and long-term employment for locals. We all want our communities to grow and prosper, but why should one faction of the community benefit financially while other parts of the community suffer safety and financial issues? That is not progress. In closing, the proposed site for the fractionational plant is just a problematic area for locals, town and country, with problematic access in and out, and many future safety issues and financial losses imminent for residents nearby. So that's the one. And I made some other notes today. So this is from myself and my wife, Kathy. You only have to do a quick Google search for explosions in Canada to find out how common it is in the past for gas plants and oil facilities to wreak havoc on lives and property due to some overseeing human error for whatever the reason. I myself have had personal experiences in my past career in the oil field with losing my father-in-law New Year's Day 1979 due to an H2S in a tank he was hauling when he flipped the lid. Plus, friends of mine have been burned very badly in the oil field. In my decade of volunteer firefighting experience, we had a 500-gallon propane tank very close to a major house fire that we had to keep fogging to keep it safe. Also, a company I worked for hauling fuel had an employee that turned his back for a few minutes, and the underground tank ran over and burned down a gas station at Knighton Junction. On the fire department, I had been to a small gas plant fire down the Long Lake Road that we had to abandon because of flashback concerns.
Sorry, Mr. McGuire, your time is up. Would you like some additional time?
Just need a few more minutes.
Okay, I'll give you an additional 2 minutes, okay?
Thank you. Okay. Not to mention my career as a contaminated soils hauler when our trucks, 25 plus trucks, often set off the radiation detectors on our destination scales. I know the trucker never knows for sure what's on their load. Their placard is never 100% accurate. I want to see pivotal energy processing in our area for the employment opportunities and all other benefits. But within 2 kilometers of the town of Edson and the populated county should never even be considered as an option. Again, we are not short of real estate, so please do not even consider this current site. Get away from population. People have told me, well, we already have the railroad and this traffic going through the pipeline to the north of the highway. Yes, we do. But it's not realistic to add to that and double down on safety hazards. Okay. There is no way any company can absolutely guarantee that there will never be a safety issue and possible catastrophe in the future, and also if there will be property and financial losses at any time, then who pays? We do not want to live in that scenario. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. McGuire, for your presentation this evening. Council, you have any questions for Mr. McGuire before he leaves? Seeing none, thank you very much. We do have a second registered speaker, Michael Lenahan, who will also have 5 minutes to speak. If you want to come up, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and councillors. My name is Michael Lenahan, and I live within the 500-meter zone on Pine Avenue. First of all, I believe this is a great opportunity for Edson area, but we must seriously consider some of the implications. According to Pivotal's information package, their feedstock and natural gas liquid will be delivered by rail and by truck, and will then be separated into purity products of natural gas, propane, butane, and condensate. Here's my concerns. Pivotal mentions in description on-site equipment. 3 120,000-gallon bullets for natural gas, 2 120,000 bullets for propane, and 2 120,000 gallons bullets for butane, and 2 3,000-barrel tanks for condensate. That's a potential of 840,000 gallons of pressurized gases. That's over 4 million liters. Let's put this into perspective here. The town for Blue Wave there has a massive 32,000 gallon propane bullet. I'll show you here. If I can find it. That's a 32,000 gallon bullet. And with that is a car. This is pretty much on scale here, okay? Now with that range there, they've allowed for about an 800 meter range for worst case scenario on that. So that would take that over to the Chrysler dealership. That's about less than half a mile away for worst case scenario on that. So what my concerns are that for on this massive size like that, I'll take this out here and show you. This is huge. That's not even 640,000 gallons. There should be one more tank on here. Now you want to put it that close to your yard? I have no idea what the blast rate would be if something happened. That's also, from Pine Avenue over top of that, the airplanes come and go as well. But that's not to say that something else couldn't happen as well, because it could take out the whole town when it's that close. There's always something that can happen. So it's something to seriously think about, because nobody's brought this up about the size of it. And that's essentially what I wanted to tell you. Okay? Something to think about, because there are lots of other places. Good enough. That's my point.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Does council have any questions? See none? Thank you very much. We have another registered speaker, Joanne Sobin, who will have 5 minutes. Come on up, Joanne.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, councillors, and good evening to all town representatives, representatives from Pivotal Energy, and my fellow residents of Edson and Yellowhead County, both in favour of and in opposition to this proposed amendment to Land Use Bylaw number 2070 for the redistricting of Southwest 1553-17 west of 5 from urban reserve to heavy industrial. Can I please ask for an extra 2 minutes? I read my thing and it's 7 minutes.
Yeah, I can give you an additional 2 minutes.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And I talk fast anyway, so.
Always pushing the limit.
I know,
Always
well, you
pushing the
gotta,
limit.
you know, you just gotta. So my name is Joanne Sobon with Hightower Ventures, and we own a property at 625 54th Street South, which directly borders the land referred to in this proposed rezoning. There's a group of us here from south of the tracks who have property either bordering or within 500 meters of the planned development and are directly impacted by this proposed change who are in attendance this evening. We have people that signed the letter: Cole and Jessica Weber, Dan and Kathy Martineau, Dana Drysdale representing Energetic Services, Mike Cote representing Superior Towing, Corey Kosher representing Rocky Mountain Salvage, and my partner Brian Thompson. For clarity, we are in support of this proposal in principle. However, we do have several concerns. Ultimately, we feel it would be advantageous to us and the potential developers whom we have met with and who seem keen to mitigate our concerns to address these issues now instead of at the development permit stage. We have met with members of both the Town of Edson and Yellowhead County Councils, MLA Martin Long, and the proposed developers and adjacent landowners without obtaining concrete solutions to our concerns. For the benefit of our other concerned citizens, I will briefly summarize the letter we submitted to the Town of Edson. Our absolute number one concern is safety due to the access issues with CN blocking the railroad tracks on 54th Street South and the impact this has on emergency services, as there's only one way in and out of the area. Additional safety concerns are the impact of additional vehicles, particularly large trucks hauling dangerous goods on the gravel road, and the traffic lineups both north and southbound when trains are blocking the railway crossing. The potential developer has indicated support for the cost of construction of a second access to the affected properties, and we discussed two options. There is currently a 25-meter wide public utility lot directly north of the subject property, which would allow for this to happen. The majority of the road would be constructed to gravel standard and 200 meters of hard surfacing would be required west from the golf course road. Directly south of the subject property, there is a road right-of-way extending easterly into Yellowhead County, which meets up with the golf course road. Approximately 1.2 kilometers of hard surfacing would be required to mitigate road bans. 400 meters would be in town limits and 800 meters in Yellowhead County. Either of these solutions would decrease the emergency services issues as well as traffic safety concerns in the area. Our second concern is the road standard of 54th Street South. The road width currently varies from 8.5 to 10.5 meters. The town of Edson and Yellowhead County share the landfill facility located on this road. However, it is substandard according to both municipalities' road requirements for that type of development. It is prudent to note that 54th Street South has been considered an existing arterial road, and we have submitted in our package that we submitted to the town a diagram of the current road width measurements as well as 3 renderings documenting the roadway standards and transportation and roadway network outlined in the GHD Municipal Servicing Plan study, showing the plans for this arterial road. It's shown in figure 6.1 on page 257 of that study. Our third concern is that the off-site levy money collected for this property will go to other areas and projects not located in the area. Basin 27 requires roughly $55,000 per hectare for the projects of transportation charges and sanitary charges. The parcel area is just shy of 46 hectares. Transportation charges have been allocated to every property in every basin equally. Sanitary charges for Project 8, the water and wastewater treatment plant upgrade, and Project 5, the West Sanitary Line, which is currently on hold, have been allocated to this basin. However, the project costs and contributions have not been updated since 2017, adding in contributions from the Municipal Servicing Plan grant, the Alberta Transportation Grant, developers, and utility bill charges. The 2017 report indicated $0 have been contributed at that time. Concern number 4 is that we are not being heard. Our concerns are overlooked, and processes and procedures are not following established rules of the Municipal Government Act, intermunicipal and municipal development plans, land use bylaws, as well as others. The town of Edson has access to the municipal accountability program through Alberta Municipal Affairs, and council has the ability to write a letter asking for a municipal inspection to occur at no cost to the municipality. Perhaps the town of Edson and the adjacent landowners should consider utilizing the local dispute resolution service, which is an Alberta Municipal Affairs program used for resolving issues. The last rezoning we supported in 2020 for the property at 302 54th Street South has not been a positive experience for landowners in our area. Most concerns at that time, in addition to those communicated in this correspondence, have not been addressed or enforced. These include aesthetics, contamination, health effects, increased crime, noise, and hours of operation. Various Town of Edson representatives have been made aware and have toured the area to no avail. Our final concern is the stagnancy of residential versus non-residential tax assessments and continued increases in taxes with no ability to fund major projects. In 2022, residential properties were taxed almost $5.5 million and non-residential properties were taxed just over $6.5 million, meaning Town of Edson residents are paying 45% of the overall municipal tax requirements and 55% of the tax bill comes from non-residential developments. This potential developer does not require the entirety of the land parcel. In addition to the significant tax base of this proposed facility and through forward thinking, should the remainder of the parcel be developed in a responsible manner, the increase in non-residential taxes would be a huge benefit to the town of Edson. In closing, we acknowledge and fully understand that time is the essence in order for this project to proceed. Thank you for this opportunity to voice our concerns, and through me, we would be happy to answer any questions or address any concerns you may have at this time.
Well, you did very well. You had an extra minute left. Perfect.
It's because you hurried me.
All right. Thank you very much for the presentation, Joanne. Council, do you have any questions for our presenter? All right. Well, thank you very much. All right. So that closes our registered speakers this evening. Do we have any other interested parties wishing to speak on this item? I believe we have some people online as well. Steve, can they use the raise to hand feature if they would like to speak? So if you're online and you wish to speak, please use the raise to hand feature. Is there anyone in the gallery that would like to speak for or against this proposal? Nobody? We got a full gallery here. Nobody else wants to speak? Steve, do we have anybody online wishing to speak? Are you sure? All right. Well, with that, that will be it for our speakers. We will allow our applicant to speak for 5 minutes with any closing remarks or if there's anything that you want to address from the public hearing. Does the applicant wish to speak? Sure. Okay.
Reiterate and thank you guys for your time and obviously the amount of work and research that directly impacted the landowners went into it and even the people that are opposed to the project, because this is what this is all for, is to talk to each other about what the project is and what the project is not, and then the safety measures that are taken. One thing I will say is that we're governed under the Alberta Energy Regulator that has some of the most stringent rules around safety for both local residents, for the environment. We'll have 17 to 20 employees from our company out there, so safety is of the utmost important for this facility. So again, thank you guys, and any sort of specific questions that are out there after this hearing or in the future, please feel free to reach out.
All right. Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Schwartz? Just one question. Do you have any timeline on when you plan on doing the open house?
Oh, it went off again. There we go. I thought you had like a button you could turn my mic off. Yeah. So we wanted to obviously, like I said earlier, engage the public and then have this public hearing just to gauge the viewpoints of the community, and then host the open house as somewhat of a less informal, more informative a session. So what we're targeting right now, based on the second and third reading, would be the third or fourth week in April. Hopefully it's a little nicer. We can host outside, or we've also contacted the museum to be able to host it internally, and we want to make sure that we have materials at that time to be able to share with the public and anybody who's interested.
All right. Thank you very much, Council. There's no further questions. Thank you very much for your presentation. I do want to thank everybody that's engaged in this process. It's important Council gets all the feedback, either for or against. And as I mentioned earlier this evening, we're not making any decisions tonight regarding this. We will be in a few weeks following a review of all the comments made here today, and give chance for Council to consider those comments as well. So you are welcome to stay if you want for the rest of the meeting, or you can feel free to enjoy the rest of your night. Beautiful night outside here in Edson. So thank you very much. And we will close the public hearing to bylaw number 2286. We'll just give a few moments for everybody to clear the gallery if they would like. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. We will continue on in our agenda. We do have a delegation tonight for the Town of Edson Library Board, presented by Michael Baird, Library Manager.
All right, well, good evening, and thank you for having us tonight. I'm Michael Baird, the library manager at Edson District Public Library. Sheila?
Sheila Buckle. I am the vice chair of the Town of Edson Library Board.
And I'm Robin Corser, chair of the Town of Edson Library Board.
Okay, for today, these agenda items are the same as you have already seen. So to save your time this evening, I am just going to update what has changed since our last presentation last year. So since our last presentation, we have now completed the detailed design and the construction documents. The project is now ready to move to tendering. With a full year of being open, again, we have seen that the community has returned to the library. We are currently seeing an average of over 250 people a day coming through the doors. In 2022, over 71,000 people visited our library. Our community checked out over 72,000 items, and just under 6,000 people attended programs last year. And there were more than 35,000 public Wi-Fi connections at our library. The library remains a safe place in the community. We see this in the ever-growing groups of teens and children who come at lunch and after school. Increasing numbers of young families are driving growth in programming and reinforcing the need for larger children's spaces. The reasons for this project have not changed. The engagement we have done with patrons, marginalized groups, and the Indigenous community members has confirmed our previous community feedback, much of which focused on space-related issues. Our community suggestions and concerns have been addressed where practical, including the incorporation of Indigenous elements, such as the Indigenous mural designed by local community members for the expansion's exterior wall. As we have discussed in the past, this project will provide a barrier-free and accessible facility that is inclusive to all segments of our community. A teen area, reading room, larger and revitalized children's space, as well as room to grow the collection and programming. Energy efficiency upgrades based on recommendations from Brendan Riome, the architects, and the engineering consultants have been incorporated. This project opens up the library to be welcoming from the moment you step through the doors and addresses safety and maintenance issues, prolonging the life and functionality of the facility. So this slide is the current building as it sits. And this slide, we have the final design after renovations and expansion. Now, this slide shows the latest 3D rendering of the proposed building plan. This plan illustrates some of the features incorporated from our consultations, including the circle design in the community use room that was requested by our Indigenous community. As we have discussed before, in this image, you can see the infill of the courtyard, which enables the creation of a dedicated teen area and provides space for a larger, brighter children's area along the south windows. You can also see the new quiet reading and study room in the former art room. Now, based on the pre-tender report, the opinion of project cost is $2.905 million. This number includes estimated architectural and engineering fees and a 17% contingency on the opinion of probable tender amount. Town administration has recommended the inclusion of additional funds to cover project management and other services, bringing the total opinion of project cost with fees and services to $3 million. The plan is to go to tender as soon as possible, with construction to start this summer. As mentioned in our last presentation, we have made every effort to identify any areas where hidden costs may be lurking. We feel confident that the majority of these hidden costs have been identified and included in the opinion of project cost. The risks remain for escalation in labor and material costs. The Library Board has made every effort to keep this modest expansion fiscally responsible. In addition to the significant costs of design, which the Board has already paid, the Board will be responsible for the costs to relocate the library during construction as well as furniture and equipment purchases to outfit the renovated and expanded space. These expenses will be paid out of the board's remaining reserve funds and future fundraising. For this reason, they are not included in the opinion of project cost as presented. The library has applied for grants to offset the costs of the project. We have been awarded the Provincial Community Facility Enhancement Program grant for $1 million. The Federal Green and Inclusive Community Buildings Program grant is currently under review. Council has already committed $1 million, and Yellowhead County has committed $538,000. We have secured sufficient funding to cover the opinion of probable tender and the architectural fees. It is our understanding that town administration will be requesting council to commit an additional $462,000 to this project. The additional funds requested of council would provide contingency, project management, and other services as needed for town administration to manage the project going forward. And thank you.
All right, thank you, Michael, for your presentation, and thank you to yourself and your board for your tremendous work on this project. I know it's been a long time coming, and we're very excited about it. So we will open the floor to questions from council, if you have any for Michael or the library board this evening. Anybody have any questions? We do have an agenda item later on in this meeting to discuss this, so if council has no questions, thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you. All right, we are going to move on to item F, reading of bylaws. Can I get a motion, please, that council give second reading to bylaw number 2287, amendment to land use bylaw number 2070, redistricting lot 3, block 8, plan 0125979 from Glenwood Service Industrial to Highway Commercial. And we will go to Councillor Taylor.
I so move.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. And do we have any questions or comments? I don't believe administration has any additional information they need to present on this. Council, no questions? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. And can I get a motion that council give third reading to bylaw number 2287? And we will go to Councillor Bevan.
I'll make it so.
Thank you, Councillor Bevan. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. And now we will move on to library board agreements and renovation expansion capital projects. Can I get a motion that council authorize the mayor and chief administrative officer to enter into a lease amendment agreement and for the purposes of the library renovation and expansion project, a joint development agreement with the library board? Councillor Taylor.
I so move.
Thank you very much. And we have Mr. Bob Beck, our General Manager of Community and Protective Services, to present on this evening. Welcome, Mr. Beck.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We'll try to keep this short but informative. Background and context, the Library Board has prepared functional studies and detailed designs of the renovation and expansion. They've received approval for grant funds from Yellowhead County in the amount of $538,000. They've received approval for grant funds from the province of Alberta in the amount of $1 million, and they've administered the project to the point that it is ready to be tendered. So they should be commended for all the work they've done on this project. So we've got a number of motions that were in the request for decision, and they're shown on the screen so the rest of the public can see what the motions are. We've asked for council to enter into agreements to allow us to proceed with this. We need a joint development agreement with the board, a minor lease amendment that we need to work out with the board still. Motion to increase for council to consider increasing the amount committed to this project from the town. At this time, council had committed $1 million. It would require a commitment of $1,462,000. And we're recommending that come from the Future Civic Center, Cultural Center Reserve, which I believe has a balance of $3.159 million. So With that, it would still be left with a balance of 1.7. The remaining funds would round it up to $3 million, and it would be used for project management and engineering services for us to work on, should it proceed, to work on some drainage issues and even look at the parking lot. So we've asked for another motion to amend the capital budget to include the library project. And lastly, to authorize us to proceed to tender in advance of the 2023 final budget, as long as we get all the agreements signed. So we're making that recommendation that we increase that amount to be committed to the project. We do note that we think this budget is a little conservative, and should the tender amount exceed this budget, we'd probably have to come back to council for further consideration. And there are probably additional adjustments necessary for 23 and 24, and this depends on contingency and also to the unknowns related to the drainage and the parking. If we deem that it's necessary, those are not included in the budget at this time. So we've outlined the alternatives in the request for decision, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Beck, for your presentation this evening. Council, we will open the floor to questions. If you have any for Mr. Beck regarding his presentation or the upcoming motions. Go ahead, Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, through the mayor, just give my comments regarding this, the first motion that's on the floor, and that's the agreements put in place. And I do want to thank, just sitting on the library board, I do want to thank Michael, Sheila, Robin from the library, and Mr. Beck and CO Beverage from the town for the work that they're doing together on these agreements to get them done. I know this was something that may not have been on the town's radar a few months back, but it has sort of come on to ours. And the library's done so much lead work with this, and I certainly want to thank. It's been so, like, the amount of work that's been done. If it was the town doing this, I mean, how much staffing and man hours would it take to put this together? So I want to thank the partnerships, and I know if there are hiccups along the way, the end goal remains the same. We all want to improve this facility, and reading through the agreement just from the library's perspective, I know compromises had to be made and negotiating had to be made, but all within the right frame of mind to get the project complete. So I want to thank everyone for their work on that.
All right, thank you. Council, any other questions, comments? Go ahead, Councillor Chenard.
Through the chair, I also like to echo all the work that's involved in it. So my question is, if the tender is successful, comes in at $3 million, we well know when you're building a project, you could be out by 10%. So do we have a backup plan for the extra 300 if needed? Because I wouldn't want to see the project die because we were short 300,000.
Go ahead, Mr. Beck.
So thank you, Mr. Mayor, through to Councillor Chouinard. So at this time, we're pretty optimistic that it's going to come in on budget. There is a reasonable contingency in that allowance at this time. If we did have to adjust, unfortunately, I would probably be back in front of you.
Thank you. Council, any other further questions or comments? I just echo what Councillor Taylor said. I'm very excited about this. This facility has not been invested in since it was built, and I think we have a reasonable plan moving forward. And I know we're always concerned about the dollars involved, but our asset management plan is quite clear that we need to be investing in our facilities, and the usage at our library clearly indicates that we should be moving forward with this. So with that, I will call the question. All those in favor? Let's do that again. Sorry, I forgot to. And that motion is carried. Can I get a motion, please, that council increase the amount of town funding allocated to the library renovation and expansion project from $1 million to $1.462 million to be funded from the Future Civic Cultural Facility Reserve? And Councillor Pasichny.
Yeah, I'd gladly make that motion.
All right, thank you, Councillor Pasichny. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Go ahead, Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, through the mayor, thank you again to the library for the work on this. I know there might have been some debate earlier about how much to request, and I'm glad we're requesting this amount. And full disclosure, and I do want to say that the library does have another 100,000 within the capital renovations reserve. Is that the correct name? And that money was left there in the end for future furnishings. If we renovate this project, we make a brand new building and we put the same old furniture back in it, there's something there. So I would agree that we keep that money in there. And listen, if we need more funds, there are funds available there as well. Second comment I just have is I know we've gone to the county for $538,000, and that was the library board that did that and requested those funds. And it's great that the county has come on board and has wished to partner with this project. But as the costs do go up, perhaps we need to look at going back to the county and requesting additional funds, whether it is through council to council, administration to administration, or board to the county. 35% of the users of the library are county residents, and they'll see a benefit to this facility as well. So that's sort of my recommendation, and just discussions on that of how that process could take place. And the last thing is just with regards to the funds coming out of the Cultural and Civic Center reserve account. In terms of budgeting coming for the summer and things to think about, ways to sort of replenish that account, and just because in the future we are going to have other projects, and it's nice to have that money there. The library sort of come on board, and whether or not that the money in that account was originally intended for the library is for discussion. But we can certainly say we're going to need more funds in there for future projects. So something to think about for future budgeting. So supportive of the motion on the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Byer.
Thanks. Through the chair to council. I am I want to express my my excitement and pride for working with the board. The previous term, I was reflecting earlier today on how far we've come, and when we first started going down that road, we had a mile of obstacles ahead of us, and sometimes we went in circles and unexpected challenges as well. So I'm really proud of the board and all the effort that they put into this. It certainly hasn't been taken lightly, and there's been many things in the building that they've discovered and have fixed, like the heat. So it's warm there in the children's area now. It wasn't before for 30 years. So yeah, they've uncovered a lot of really great things. So I'm trusting in their process and things that they've done, and definitely support this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Byer. Anybody else? Questions, comments, or concerns? Just to further on Councillor Taylor's comments, I don't know if Mr. Beck or maybe one of the members of the library board can answer. What was the request for Yellowhead County? Was it a specific amount, or was it a percentage amount when you presented to them?
But it may be premature to go to the county before we go to tender. I guess that's just my thought.
All right, thank you very much. So just to clarify, because I don't know if the microphone picked it up, that the request was for the $538,000. So, Mr. Beck, do you want to add anything? No? Okay, thank you very much. And I would agree that I think that we need to look at what the final tender number is, and then we can have those discussions moving forward. But I do want to see this project moving forward. I think this is absolutely fantastic, so I will be supporting it. With that, if we have no other further questions, comments, or concerns, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion that council make the following amendments to the 2023 capital budget addition of the library renovation and expansion project with a budget of $3 million, increase in revenue to be received for the library renovation and expansion project in the amount of $1.538 million? And Councillor Byer.
I so move.
Thank you, Councillor Byer. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. And can I get a motion, please, that administration be authorized to tender the library project in advance of the final adoption of the 2023 budget and after signing of the joint development agreement by both parties? And we will move to Councillor Bevan.
I'll make it so.
Thank you, Councillor Bevan. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried, and I believe we haven't missed any. Is that correct, administration? Don't want to miss anything. All right. Thank you, Mr. Beck, and once again, thank you to the library for your presentation, and looking forward on hopefully cutting a ribbon sooner rather than later. Can I get a motion, please, that council deny the utility bill forgiveness request for account number 132243.11 received at the March 7th, 2023 regular council meeting? Go ahead, Councillor Chenard.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Chenard. And we do have Ms. Sarah Bittner, General Manager of Corporate Services, with us. Go ahead, Ms. Bittner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just have a short presentation, just recapping what is in your RFD that has been provided in the agenda. So for the background, the request for utility bill forgiveness was made at the March 7th regular council meeting. For a timeline, the renter vacated the property without providing notice. Based on the consumption, this likely occurred around mid-October of 2022. The leak must have begun in early December after the November monthly meter reads had been taken. We read once a month at the end of the month, and the November bill didn't show any consumption at that stage. We were notified by the property owner on December 21st about a leak, and the utilities department investigated on that same day. The break was found to be inside the property, and an external contractor was engaged by the owner, and the issue resolved the following day. We can see from the consumption that after December 21st, it dropped back down to a normal consumption amount. A recommendation for, we recommend denying this request for 3 reasons. Property owners are responsible for managing their own properties, and that includes checking on vacant properties and managing their relationships with their renters. When we are notified of leaks, we obviously go and check them out immediately, like we did with this one, but the responsibility does rest on the property owners. The town does incur costs for providing utilities, such as production, distribution, etc. And they're appropriately assigned to each user on a cost recovery basis. We don't fund our operational water through general public, imposed on the general public through taxation. Granting a reduction such as this could establish a problematic precedent, with council expected to grant more exemptions and reductions in the future. So this recommendation promotes the fairness, consistency and the clarity of responsibilities for the water usage and water bills with the property owners. So the motion is to deny the utility bill forgiveness for this account.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bittner, for your presentation. Council, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns? Councillor Bevan.
Through the chair to Ms. Bittner. On this bill here and that, can they be put on a payment plan, or will they have to pay everything up front?
Go ahead, Ms. Bittner.
Through the chair to Councillor Bevan, we can certainly discuss something with the property owner if they contact the office.
Do you have a follow-up, Councillor Bevan? Go ahead.
Yes, I do, through the chair. On that amount, will there be any interest charged on that account to them?
Yes, through the chair to Councillor Bevan, there is a penalty charge every month. I believe on utility bills it's 2.5% per month.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bittner. Councillor Moore.
Yes, through the chair to Ms. Bittner. How often has this occurred in the past, situation like this?
Through the chair to Councillor Moore. We've had other people approach us in the past for forgiveness for things of leaks that have been found within their homes. We haven't in the past given any forgiveness for those, because it is the responsibility of the property owner to look after their properties.
Thank you. Council, any further questions, comments, or concerns? Thank you for your presentation. I'm very empathetic to the situation. That's a lot of money and a lot of, unfortunately, water that kind of went down the drain. I'm all about trying to work with people and finding some sort of resolution or compromise, but I do not believe it is in the taxpayers' best interest to waive utilities. At the end of the day, the property owner is responsible, and this could open up a huge can of worms. If somebody on council would like to make a motion to waive the penalty so that there are no interest charges for a certain time or till the end of the year to give the homeowner time to pay this without incurring any penalties, I certainly would be supportive of that, but they'll be up to council if you want to make that motion as a supplementary motion. Otherwise, I will be voting in favor to deny this request. So if there is anybody else have any further questions or comments, go ahead, Councillor.
Through the chair to council. I think in the situation as if it was any other utility company and their heat was cranked on and left on, I don't think ACCO would have much forgiveness. So I think we're in line with every other utility. And I would support this mayor's statements on that.
All right, thank you very much. Any other further questions or comments? With that, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. And is there any other additional motions from council before we move on to the next item? I see none, so we will move on. Can I get a motion, please, that council approve the revised 2022-2023 council board and committee appointments as set out in attachment 1? Councillor Chenard.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Chenard. And we have Mr. Lucas, our legislative officer, with us. Come on up, Mr. Lucas.
Thank you and good evening, Mayor and Council. The thrust of this recommendation is outlined in the RFD. There's an adjustment to the boards and committees that have been agreed upon between the mayor and the 2 affected councillors. As well, for completeness sake, we've added the mayor's previous appointment to the Alberta Rail Advocacy Coalition to the list as well.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lucas. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. Can I get a motion, please, that council authorize all members of council to attend the West Yellowhead Regional Waste Management Authority Recycling Industry and Waste Reduction Conference on April 27th, 2023, along with associated expenses? Go ahead, Councillor Chenard.
What I'm doing is I will not vote in favor of this because I do not want to attend with town expenses with conflict for the people I work for.
Councillor Beyer.
I so move the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Beyer. And now we will open the floor to questions, comments, or concerns. Councillor Chenard, I think you made your point. Do you have anything new to add?
Yes, I would just like it so we can change the wording all but me. So because it says all councils allowed. So for my own conflict, I don't want to be all council on it.
Councillor Chenard, that's not necessary because you won't submit expenses to the town if you're not going to. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? I think CO Beveridge, you want to speak on this item. Go ahead, CO Beveridge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to note, this was a great opportunity for all of council as their schedule permits to attend this session. Just noting there is a bit of an adjustment when it comes to the RFD. Of course, we had anticipated to allow for council to attend altogether and not to have associated expenses, but given the recent events at the town centre this past week, the fleet vehicles that we have to provide for town councillors and staff to attend events such will now be at a cost at this point in time. So just wanted to bring that to council's attention as well, as there's a change to the RFD.
Thank you very much, Ms. Beveridge. Thank you for pointing that out. Councillor Byer.
Thanks. Thanks through the chair to administration. Right before COVID hit, I did attend an educational event on the Alberta Extended Producer Responsibility and kind of the things that sound a little bit like what's listed there. Is the presentation unique to our region, or is it on just a broader scale? What the West Yellowhead Regional Waste Management Authority is planning on doing. I'm just curious the context of the presentation.
Would you like me to speak to it, Ms. Beveridge? Okay, so myself and Councillor Pisichny are part of West Yellowhead Regional Waste Management Authority. We had a number of funds available. I think it was included in the RFD there from the recycling association that was set up under the Regional Waste Management Authority that needs to be spent. So the board decided to have an environmental event, so this will be able to provide additional updates on where we're at, as well as get the region together as well to discuss recycling and waste management. Obviously, we're all partners in this together between Jasper, Hinton, Edson, Yellowhead County, and the MD of Greenview. So I think that's kind of where we're at on that, and we thought that would be the most appropriate use of those funds. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
All right, council, any further questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. Oh, I forgot to turn on my mic. Look what I just did there. Once again, can I get a motion that council accept the March 21st, 2023 information item as set out in attachment 1 for information? Councillor Taylor.
I so move.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Any questions, comments, or concerns? This letter was just a follow-up in regards to conversations with MLA Long regarding doctors in our community, and appreciate this additional information as it gives greater understanding to how the levels of physicians are determined for communities, and I'm happy to see that work is underway to recruit 2 additional doctors to our community. With that, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. We have no sundry items. We're going to move on to council committee reports, and we are going back to March the 8th. Just a reminder that I control the mics on this portion, but we will start with Councillor Pisichny.
I only hit my mic so I could queue up first. I have nothing to report. Was that what you do?
Thank you. No, don't queue up. I will let you know if you are up. We will move on to Councillor Chenard.
Oh, so I'm up now? Okay, on March 8th, oh, it said I'm speaking, so I'm up. March 8th, I attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting. At the meeting, we discussed the trade show. We're about 50% sold out, but which is not unusual for last minute. We do have some open spots. On March 10th, by Zoom, I zoomed in on the Trans-Canada. We heavily discussed our frustration. We have members of the lack of the transportation minister to meet with our board to discuss Highway 16, so we have everyone on board. My comment was we're still waiting on Edson's repair, and I did have a conversation with our MLA, and he's going to talk to transportation minister, because the frustration was they had 3/4 an hour slotted for Zoom, and we're saying, okay, can we meet in person for 3/4 an hour? And then on March 15th, I attended the Chamber AGM. The mayor was there to swear the people in, so I will let him tell you who all the new people is. We have a new member, and on March 13th, I attended our PAC meeting along with Councillor Moore. So we did talk about grizzly bears. Moore has notes, I'll let him do that. The most important part was the wood for the West Fraser Mill here. They're about 85% stocked. As long as the roads hold, they will be stocked up so they can continue sawing all summer until the fall. Hinton is not doing as well, but they're part of it. And oh, and then March 15th, later that day, I also attended the RCMP Town Hall Open House. And that's it for my report.
Thank you, Councillor Chenard. And we will move on to Councillor Byer.
Thanks. Just on March 15th, I had the RCMP Town Hall, and that was everything.
Thank you, Councillor Byer. And we will move on to Councillor Taylor.
On March 8th, I attended the library board meeting, and I had a whole presentation ready to go, and then someone stole my thunder. That's okay. That's okay. March 15th, I attended the library board finance committee meeting. And then I attended the last 5 minutes of the RCMP town hall on the same night. And on March 20th, I attended the Yellowhead Regional Library Board meeting where we accepted the auditor's report and also got some information regarding library advocacy to hand out to MLAs and candidates running in the provincial election, which I'll be passing on to our library board. So, and that's my report.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. And we will move on to Councillor Bevan.
On March 16th, I had an Evergreen Foundation meeting. We had our audit and that. We discussed that, and it went very well. Wildwood Construction, they had open houses at Wildwood, Evansburg, and Knight, and they were attended by very well. It's a 26.5 million build with 45 doors, and they can expand to 70 to 75 units if needed to be. They have the room to do there. Victor Lake, which is now Kickanau, is called. We have a sod turning on April the 19th. We're going to have about 3 or 4 ministers up there, and they're hoping to put shovels in the ground as of May the 1st in that day. And we also got a report from them that's at Grand Cache on, I believe, May the 4th, was going to have a family doctor up there, and it's going to be mainly for the seniors lodge right now, but to follow then, May 4th and 5th, they're going to have follow them before 5 more doctors will be coming up there, and that they have said that. March 16th again, the evening, we had a senior transportation meeting. We're up to 20 teams now for our trivia night, April the 1st, which is great. We were hoping to get 15. We're up 20. Our ED is in working with a transportation study with the town of Edson here. He was very impressed with the ridership stats that we have kept over the last 6 months since we took it over. It's really made his job easy, he said. He doesn't have to go out and find it, so he's really working well with it and that. And that is my report as presented.
All right, thank you, Councillor Bevan. And Councillor Moore.
Thank you very much. Yes, I attended the West Fraser PAC meeting along with Councillor Chouinard. Covered a whole bunch of topics, including fire guards in the area, how to protect the forest, and of course the grizzly bear presentation, which I found interesting. I asked a couple of questions about that. One of them was if the grizzly bears return to the same den that they had before, and I guess they don't. And I asked about black bears, whether they would use a grizzly bear den, and I guess they don't. So, and they didn't have an answer for that. So if anybody's looking at a science show out there, maybe they can, if they find the answer, they can let me know. So anyway, that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Councillor Moore. And for myself, on March 13th, I had a Community Rail Advocacy Alliance meeting. We have 4 new members joining. We have several others interested. This is gaining momentum. We actually have other provinces and municipalities from across the country interested in joining. So the executive discussed that, and we are saying more the merrier on this initiative. We also have meetings lined up with ministers this week for the RMA conference, and the Alberta Munis Leaders Caucus is next week, and there will be meetings with ministers there, which I will be attending, and I'll also be doing a presentation as the Alberta Municipalities Liaison for the CRAA. We've also lined up a meeting. CN executives are actually going to be flying in and driving up to Peace River to meet with the CRAA as well here in April. So this is really gaining a lot of momentum. Encourage members of council and the public to go to railforward.ca for information on how we're trying to affect change in terms of rail capacity within Canada and more specifically Northern Alberta. On March 14th, CO Beveridge and I met with executive members of Weyerhaeuser, really good meeting discussing partnerships with the town of Edson, and it was very, very positive. And once again, they wanted to reiterate their support and thanks to council for our advocacy on the rail issue. March 15th, attended the Chamber AGM with Councillor Chenard. A number of new executive members were installed, including Sherry McDowell, who is the new president, and Christy Gamoka, my wife, who is the vice president, and there were other executive members, and I can't recall. I don't want to mess anybody up here, so no changes for the rest, right? Yeah. And I think Mr. Baird is now a director as well from the library. So it was great to see. MLA Long was in attendance as well. And then later on this evening, the RCMP Town Hall, which was the first joint town-county town hall. And I think some really good information and feedback was presented both by the RCMP and members of the public. And that is my report. So we will move on. We have no financial items. Questions from media and public regarding items from this council meeting? Does anybody have any questions? I'm not seeing anybody raising their hand, so we will move on. Can I get a motion, please, that the meeting move into a closed session pursuant to Section 24 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act? And Councillor Chenard?
I'll move we go into our closed session meeting.
Thank you very much. I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. All right. Thank you, everyone. Can I get a motion for adjournment? Oh, I need a motion first. Geez. Go ahead, Councillor Chenard.
Motion for adjournment.
Thank you, Councillor Chenard. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you.